我们的前副总统 Joe Biden 上个星期三给了美国非常清楚的 State of the Union Address 国情咨文。
We have to do more than just build back better. To build back, we have to build back better.
对，我们不只要 build back better， 我们要 build back better。我们的前副总统给了一段非常清楚的演讲，对着一个几乎是全部都是空的国会，里面的国会议员全部戴着口罩，闭着嘴，除了掌声以外，不可以有任何的其他的声音。在被一层一层的铁丝网包围着首都，整个城市都有前所未有的重兵把守。好险，我们前几个月摧毁了那个什么 insurrection 那个东西耶，那个右派的法西斯的种族歧视的起义耶。现在的国会看起来像伟大的毛泽东的国会、斯大林的国会、希特勒的国会一样和平。我们的美国又在向民主、自由、多元更进一步了。不同意的请举手。我是 Ethan， 欢迎收看今天的 AI News。今年的 State of the Union 很不一样。其实我不是很喜欢川普的一点，就是他每次讲话好像都是在 State of the Union 一样，就是说哦，我好棒哦，我好厉害哦，你看看我做了什么，我们今年超棒的。那今年Joe Biden讲的内容呢，也是一样，就是一堆吹嘘，然后自我吹捧的一堆话，然后一堆神经病在那边拍手。不一样的地方是，Joe Biden 不能讲出事实，一切要依照民主党的剧本走，就是要制造更多的恐惧。这就是为什么你看国会里面每一个人都还在 social distancing， 每一个都还是戴着口罩，每一个国会议员不是听从 CDC 的而是听从 Tony Fauci 的，继续在那边开会。要知道是在那里面每一个人都接种过疫苗，每一个人都经过测试。那他们为什么还要在那边装成那个样子呢？他们私底下去店里洗头都不戴口罩啦，那他们现在戴个屁呀？因为这个样子可以制造恐慌，因为这个样子可以让人民害怕，这个样子可以给人民做个榜样，叫人民乖乖的听话，这个样子我才可以再花$10 trillion。很多人说不是10 trillion， 是6 trillion dollar， 但是他们不知道，就是他们在推行的是原本在推的4 trillion， 然后后面再加上6 trillion。他们需要人民害怕，他们才可以随便花那么多不是他们的钱，他们才可以让人民主动的把神赐给的自由跟宪法保障的权利交给政府。他们就是在推行社会主义，他们就是在推行左派的共产主义，他们在推行的就是国营企业。
Throughout our history, if you think about it, public investment in infrastructure has literally transformed America.Our attitudes as well as our opportunities. The Transcontinental Railroad, the interstate highways, united two oceans and brought a totally new age of progress to the United States of America. Universal public schools and college aid opened wide the doors of opportunity. Scientific breakthroughs took us to the moon. Now we're on Mars, discovering vaccines, gave us the internet, and so much more.These are investments we made together as one country, and investments that only the government was in a position to make.
他讲的那几个国营企业，就是Transcontinental Railroad 啊，然后什么Interstate Highway 啊，原本是私人企业，在进行的时候都很好，但是国家一买下来之后，服务就开始变差，然后路就开始有问题，火车开始出轨，服务变得超级贵，然后又变超级烂。如果各位住在纽约的话，就知道。你们的地铁或者是捷运，你们的票价大概是全世界最高的，而且每一年都在升高。然后纽约的捷运为什么这么脏？为什么这么恶心？为什么捷运站里面没有厕所？而且到火星的是特斯拉，也是个私人企业，跟国营企业没有任何的关系。这一切只是在用不是事实的东西在他脸上贴金而已。不过这些是不够的。他说他跟习近平谈了好久，他当选的时候跟他讲电话讲了2个小时，然后他说民主还有法治的国家进步太慢了，无法跟这个认真的国家相比，所以说呢，我们要把教育更国有化。
Secretary Blinken can tell you, I spent a lot of time with President Xi Traveled over 17,000 miles with him. Spent, they tell me, over 24 hours in private discussions with him. When he called to congratulate him, we had a 2-hour discussion. He's deadly earnest about becoming the most significant, consequential nation in the world. He and others, autocrats, think that democracy can't compete in the 21st century with autocracies because it takes too long to get consensus. To win that competition for the future, in my view, we also need to make a once-in-a-generation investment in our families and our children.
没错，12年的国教已经不够了，我们洗脑就要从小就开始洗，要从小孩3岁的时候就让他们读我们要他们读的书，然后我们要更少的家庭教育，更多的政府教育。
12 years is no longer enough today to compete with the rest of the world in the 21st century. That's why my American Families Plan guarantees 4 additional years of public education for every person in America, starting as early as we can. The great universities in this country have conducted studies of the last 10 years. It shows that adding 2 years of universal high-quality preschool for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old, no matter what background they come from, puts them in a position to be able to compete all the way through 12 years.
这个其实是我个人最害怕的东西。小孩3岁的时候，你就要把他送去公立学校，然后那个公立学校教导的就是那些什么变性啊、女权啊、同婚啊、反歧视这样子的谎言，教导他们美国是个种族歧视的国家，美国很烂，然后长大之后变成一堆脑残。新冠肺炎疫情当中拿个牌子上面写着 Agents for Black Lives Matter 那样子的白痴吗？我拒绝这么做，我拒绝参与共产主义的乌托邦。我拒绝放弃基本常识，然后让我的小孩跟我这样子被洗脑。拜登在这边也提到的就是要继续推广奥巴马时期就崩溃的全民健保，再度强调健康保险是每个人的权利，不是美国人的特权。那他要怎么付这些钱啊？帮所有的人买保险是要提高税收的耶。他说没有，我会叫大公司付钱。
We can do it without increasing the deficits.Let's start with what I will not do. I will not impose any tax increase on people making less than $400,000. But it's time for corporate America and the wealthiest 1% of Americans to just begin to pay their fair share. Sometimes I have arguments with my friends in the Democratic Party. I think you should be able to become a billionaire and a millionaire, but pay your fair share. A recent study shows.that 55 of the nation's biggest corporations paid 0 federal tax last year. Those 55 corporations made in excess of $40 billion in profit.
对，有这么多的大公司去年没有付税，哎，怎么可以这个样子？怎么可以这个样子玩税收 ？OK Joe， 你知道那些大公司投票投给谁吗？你知道为什么那些大公司为什么没付税吗？你知道那些大公司是在推行哪一个党的政策吗？最重要的是，你知道那些大公司政治现金都给了谁吗？民主党的策略就是洗脑，让你一直认为说民主党是一个穷人的党，还有劳工的党，然后共和党是一个贵族的党，是白人的党，是千万富翁，是亿万富翁的党。但是这些都不是真的，这些亿万富翁绝大多数都是给 Joe Biden 的，华尔街是给 Joe Biden 的。一部分的人会认为说，不错啊，让这些有钱人自食恶果啊，你们投拜登，那你们就多付税嘛。But at what cost？ 拜登所有的政策全部都是针对摧毁中小企业，然后让大公司无限扩张的。Amazon、Google、Costco、DoorDash、Zoom。这些公司去年成长了多少？然后有多少你家附近的小店，多少 family-owned business 永远不会再开了？这些东西都不重要，重要的是集体控制。我说实话啦，像有的时候我们会觉得就是苹果手机上面这些 APP 都不用钱呢，好棒哦，好方便哦。但是我必须说出事实，就是当你认为真的是物超所值的时候， 绝大多数你就是那个商品。最后的20几分钟，他花在就是美国是个种族歧视的国家，然后要消除警察，然后白人至上，然后美国最大的问题是那些东西的。我这边就不再跟大家解释了，因为之前我们都已经讲过了。拜登就是一个正在推行全面社会主义的推手，民主党要创造的就是共产主义乌托邦。首先要做的事情就是利用政府的力量来摧毁或者歼灭所有不同的声音。川普目前还太多人支持了，而且他几乎已经完全闭嘴了。我们要让这些保守派，然后让这些政治不正确的人尝尝政府的力量。
New fallout this morning after those searches at Rudy Giuliani's office and Manhattan apartment. FBI agents escorted to Giuliani's home by his doorman, according to a person briefed on what happened. Multiple sources familiar with the investigation tell NBC News the agents seized Giuliani's electronic devices, phones, tablets, or computers. It's believed to be part of a long-running investigation into Giuliani's dealings with Ukraine.
I was given information about Ukrainian corruption.
Giuliani's attorney insists he did nothing wrong in a statement, saying in part the search warrants involve only one indication of an alleged incident of failure to register as a foreign agent, which, he says, Giuliani has denied. Giuliani's son, Andrew, speaking with us overnight after visiting with his father.
He's a tough guy. You know, when the mafia ends up putting a hit out on you and you've lived through September 11th, it almost like it doesn't faze him, you know, to be honest.
A person familiar with the investigation tells NBC News federal prosecutors had what they needed to get this warrant as far back as last year, but it was just a matter of timing, which suggests the Justice Department may have wanted to wait until the transition period between administrations ended before moving forward.
没有错 ，FBI 4月28号早上闯进了川普竞选时期的律师 Giuliani 的家里，他们有纽约州的搜索令，合法的夺取了 Giuliani 的电子产品，因为 Giuliani 可能跟乌克兰还有什么什么什么的案件有关。那他到底犯了什么罪？我们不知道，甚至没有人知道。警察破门而入，然后冲进去你家，只拿走一些什么手机啊、iPad 之类的东西，还有 hard drive 之类的东西，不抓你。这个很奇怪吧 ？Giuliani 之后也去上了 Fox News 跟 Newsmax， 说明他们当时为什么闯进他家。
When they had taken about, I'd say, 7 or 8 electronic items of mine, which is what they took, and 2 of someone else's, they weren't taking the 3 hard drives, which of course are electronic devices. They just mimic the computer. I said, well, don't you want these? And they said, what are they? I said, those are Hunter Biden's hard drives. And they said, no. I said, are you sure you don't want them? I mean, the warrant required them to take it. And they said, no. And one last time I said, don't you think you should take it and they said, no. That warrant is completely illegal. The only way you can get a search warrant is if you can show that there's some evidence that the person is going to destroy the evidence or is going to run away with the evidence. Well, I've had it for 2 years and I haven't destroyed it. And they also got it from the iCloud. So there was no justification for that warrant. It is an illegal, unconstitutional warrant, one of many that this Department of Injustice tragically has done. And it breaks my heart because I belong to the Justice Department, and I think I had a record that's a hell of a lot better than theirs.
What have they said to you about what they're looking into?
They haven't said anything to me. They won't explain to me what they're looking into for 2 years. We've called them 5, 6 occasions, said, tell us what you're investigating. We'll come in and address it. No, just come in and talk to us. Tell us about your whole life, because that's ridiculous. And so I have to go as a lawyer on the search warrant. The search warrant is purportedly based on one single failure to file for representing a Ukrainian national or official that I never represented. I've never represented a Ukrainian national or official before the United States government. I've declined it several times. I've had contracts in countries like Ukraine. In the contract is a clause that says I will not engage in lobbying or foreign representation. I don't do it because I felt it would be too compromising.
但是如果说你看主流媒体的话，你就会认为说，这 Giuliani 好像已经被定罪了连纽约市的市长也出来说，他没有很讶异啊，好像全世界的人都已经定罪 Giuliani 了一样。 不过我们知道有另外一个人绝对跟乌克兰有关系，我们有他吸毒的照片、嫖妓的照片、裸照，还有他吸毒时持枪的照片，还有他跟乌克兰、还有俄罗斯跟中国的公司还有官员的电子邮件。这个人不但没有被调查，而且还上各大节目讲述他认为我们这些白痴有多蠢。不止这个样子，他还出书了。
And what I really wanted to write the book for was to humanize people suffering from addiction. But also, I wrote the book, and more than anything, it's a love letter to the people that are loving someone that's struggling with addiction. Because it's so hard for them to understand why it is that their love just can't get through.
Wow, so touching. 美国现在就是用全部国家的力量来证明一个不合格的老人可以当总统，还有他全家都是完美的，就算之前有那些丑闻，都可以把它写成浪子回头那个样子。拜登下的美国使用国家机器在推行左派的多元、自由、民主、反歧视到了什么程度呢？美国有一个非常著名的政府部门，除了 FBI 以外，最响当当的名号就是 CIA 了，这个全世界最有名而且最强大的间谍部门。他发了 Twitter， 先不要说他们应不应该发 Twitter， 毕竟他们是一个间谍组织。总之 ，CIA 中情局也觉醒了。
I used to struggle with imposter syndrome, but at 36, I refused to internalize misguided patriarchal ideas of what a woman can or should be. I am tired of feeling like I'm supposed to apologize for the space I occupy rather than intoxicate people with my effort, my brilliance. I am proud of me, full stop. My parents left everything they knew and loved to expose me to opportunities they never had. Because of them, I stand here today a proud first-generation Latina and officer at CIA.
对。我们间谍终于可以不用再伪装自己了。你可以想象，你的工作就是要伪装自己，然后获取情报，然后你不再伪装自己之后会怎样吗？ Well, anyway， 左派其实是一直想要摧毁 CIA 的。他们一直说 CIA 是一个邪恶的组织，他们摧毁了很多共产主义国家，然后推翻了很多中美洲跟南美洲的共产主义革命之类的，然后又放了很多独裁者的政权，只在那些特定的国家，只为了美国利益。看完刚刚那个影片之后，我第一次觉得左派人士是对的，我也觉得 CIA 应该被解散了。很明显，这个政府部门已经没有任何用处了。这个部门在美国的行政院有非常非常大的力量，不管是对于国外还是国内。但是他们现在接受了左派的觉醒，这个激进的解放，接受了我们要的不是最好的人才，而是要更多元，要分人种，要推翻原有的制度，然后我们要为了我们自己感到骄傲。只要我们够骄傲，我们就可以改变我们的性别，我们就可以改变我们的种族，我们就可以改变我们的性向。只要我们很执着的认为，我们就可以逼迫社会依照我们的方式去思考。CIA 这次不是在暗中推行这个样子的东西，而是直接放在 Twitter 上面说我们要骄傲，不管事实是什么，我们就是要骄傲。各位如果是基督徒的话，就知道骄傲是撒旦堕落的原因。骄傲就是我们以为我们骗人不会被发现的原因。骄傲就是魔鬼最喜欢的罪，因为他可以使用你的骄傲，让你变得跟魔鬼一样。很多基督徒当初不投川普的时候，说因为他很骄傲，那这个我是可以完全理解的，而且这个也是我们每一个人每天都应该要自己检讨的一点，因为我们的社会已经分不清楚骄傲跟自由的区别了。我用一个很简单的例子，当一个人选择变性，他有这个自由去做他心中的自己，这一切是他可以自己帮自己做的决定。但是当他认为因为他变性了，所有的人就必须认同他新的性别，认为这个世界应该要因为他的决定而改变，那这就是一个骄傲的行为了。川普跟拜登骄傲的不同的地方在哪里？或者是保守派跟自由派的这个骄傲差别在哪里？ 就是保守派的骄傲是因为他做的事情的事实，而且是经过他的努力之后得到的成果。例如说，真的达到了经济史上的新高，或者是真的做到了美国失业率最低，或者是真的在1年内开发出新冠肺炎的疫苗。这个我们透过自己的努力得到的尊荣叫做自信。另外一种就是我觉得边境没事啊，我觉得这些偷渡客都是 OK 的啊，我觉得有种族歧视啊，我认为你赚的钱不应该属于你的，应该属于大家的啊，然后你不能不认同我，因为这个样子你就是歧视。这个样子没有根据的自我尊荣就叫做自尊。所以在这边呼吁大家多努力，然后得到更多的自信，而不是无缘无故的觉得自己很重要的自尊。感谢大家收看，我是 Ethan， 更多美国情报请继续关注 AI News。